This week, in a Thursday interview, Wheeler, the head of this pack that lied, conceded that it was wrong when they insisted this photo of another woman in a bed was her. That was the photo with the woman that looked like she came out the 70s in Las Vegas. It was wrong when they claimed Boebert initially failed to disclose a campaign contribution from Ted Cruz. It was wrong when they suggested Cruz made a big contribution to Boebert's campaign immediately after she started running. It was wrong when they got the date of her accident wrong. It was off. And it was wrong when they said she had an abortion in the fall of 2004 with the most generous interpretation that would only give her 6 months before you said she had an abortion and when she gave birth to her son. Something that would take 2 seconds to verify. Is this online gender-based harassment? Would this fall under the purview of this group, Ms. Kamala Harris? I demand an answer. I just did a video recently on this American Muckraker pack headed by David Wheeler that released information on Lauren Boebert that was shaky at best. Some of it was proven false literally immediately. And I want to tie that in to this online harassment task force that Vice President Kamala Harris is heading.
Thank you so much for joining us today at the launch of the White House Task Force to address online harassment and abuse.
In a second, she's going to talk about what it's for. I want to know, did what happened to Lauren Boebert, would it fall under the purview of this group right here? Peep game here. They tried to do this disinformation governance board.
There's already this idea, this allegation that there is anti-conservative bias on the platforms, even though there has been study after study proving, in fact, that often it's liberal voices that are being silenced, particularly minority voices on social media. So I think we're going to see more allegations of that.
Failed, flopped, terrible implementation of a rollout. So basically, they're doing the same thing, in my opinion, very similar, hiding behind the identity of Kamala Harris, black, if you want to call her black, or a person of color, and a woman.
Who also, likes hip hop. Like, what do you want to know?
So then they roll out the disinformation governance board again, and this time they make sure to tie it into behind the umbrella of, it's not Biden launching it, or it's not the DHS, it's Kamala Harris launching it.
This task force will address the pervasive problem of online harassment and abuse, which disproportionately targets women, girls, and LGBTQI plus people. Within 180 days, this task force will present recommendations in each of these areas, including policies and programs for the government, as well as the private sector and civil society.
Policy, and people use this term fascist, and now it doesn't mean anything. To the point where the government, that's the whole strategy of this. That is I don't know who, but that is a conscious strategy to get everyone to use a term so it means nothing. This is fascism that you're looking at right now. It's unconstitutional, clearly. You don't have to be a Jenna Ellis. You don't have to be a constitutional lawyer to know that the government, the executive branch, cannot put together a task force to define or work on online harassment with private companies.
Within 180 days, this task force will present recommendations in each of these areas, including policies and programs for the government, as well as the private sector and civil society.
That is the government directly getting involved with people and their speech. The First Amendment separates people's speech from the government. This is unconstitutional. I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to reset what happened with Lauren Boebert. It was so bad, CNN had to admit it was bunk and awful in a stunning turn of events. It's really bad when CNN has to admit, this information is really, really bad and it's really, really wrong what happened here. What happened is CNN called out the 5 lies. That's at least. It could be more than 5 lies, but some things we can't confirm whether they're true or not. These lies are from the American Muckrakers pack, and they were all against Lauren Boebert, a woman running in a primary race. So if they care about identity, then let me know if this counts. The American Muckraker pack created a website to attack Lauren Boebert. They lied about a photo of her being an escort. They used a photo of another woman to say that she had a profile on a site, a sugar daddy site, to be an escort. This is a pack that basically is calling her a former whore. That's literally what they did. With a photo that's now confirmed to be false, it was not her. There's no proof. This website said we have no proof that she was on there. Now you've put Lauren Boebert, we're going to talk about the abortion stuff in a second, in a situation where she has to prove a negative. Basically, you just out of the blue said she was a hoe and she had abortions. How does she disprove that?
Tommy, these are all lies. And, isn't it interesting that this is coming from the party of believe all women? I am not the only one that this has happened to. We know that they've lied about you, as you stated. They've lied about Sarah Palin and nearly every conservative fighter. Heck, even Mother Jones, a far left-leaning publication, called these sexist and disgusting claims. Conservative women are targets of the mainstream media, but that makes us so much stronger. I've never had 2 abortions. I've never had any abortions. I've never been an escort. I've never been a drug addict, as they claim, a stripper, or whatever else they want to add to that. And over the last few days, verifiable facts will be released that prove what I said. That proves that these allegations are absolutely false. But here's what's so sad, Tommy. The damage has been done. These allegations trended #1 on Twitter.
So if somebody says, hey, you used to be a male escort. How do I prove I was never a male escort? You can't. How do you fight that? It's already out in the ether. They've done their job. This David Wheeler, this American Muckraker PACs, I am not hedging my bets. I'm not saying allegedly. They are, anyone associated with that organization, you are associated with the organization that is lying. David Wheeler is a liar. This is scumbag level stuff. They lied about her not reporting a contribution from Ted Cruz. They lied about Ted Cruz's contributions to her. They lied about the date of this car accident that they mentioned about her with her. They lied about details of an abortion. They have no proof that she ever had an abortion. So we don't know. She might have, she might not have. But how low, how dirty do you have to be? How demonic do you have to be to put politics and corporate rising to the top for your political action committee? Hold that so important and near and dear to your heart that you're going to lie. I'm going to tell you why I'm calling them a liar. The information was so simple to verify. There's no other excuse that you have to lie about somebody's abortion just for a political gain. Every day we're seeing new level of darkness, and these people, someone who's that evil, they would have no problem unliving you. That's how bad that is. Here's the receipts. In emails this week and a Thursday interview, Wheeler, the head of this PAC that lied, conceded that it was wrong when they insisted this photo of another woman in a bed was her. That was the photo with the woman that looked like she came out the 70s in Las Vegas. It was wrong when they claimed Boebert initially failed to disclose a campaign contribution from Ted Cruz. It was wrong when they suggested Cruz made a big contribution to Boebert's campaign immediately after she started running. It was wrong when they got the date of her accident wrong. It was off. And it was wrong when they said she had an abortion in the fall of 2004 with the most generous interpretation that would only give her 6 months before you said she had an abortion and when she gave birth to her son. Something that would take 2 seconds to verify. Occupy Democrats still has this tweet up to this day. I'm recording this on June 26. The tweet is breaking. The American Muckrakers PAC alleges that Lauren Boebert used to be an unlicensed paid escort, basically putting in quotes a hoe, and met clients using a sugar daddy website. Allegedly, her escort work led to her having an abortion. Occupy Democrats, verified on Twitter, still has this tweet up. The facts are still unconfirmed. Retweet if you think that sounds true. They created a website specifically targeted for Boebert, lied about the details concerning her private medical history. We don't know if she had an abortion or not. This happened while she's going into a primary election. Is this online gender-based harassment? Would this fall under the purview of this group, Ms. Kamala Harris? I demand an answer. This is directly from their website, a memo. I know she's not going to answer. That doesn't mean I can't demand it. This is directly from the website with the memo that launched this group. I quote, Online harassment and abuse include a broad array of harmful and sometimes illegal behaviors that are perpetrated through the use of technology. Then they go into women. So I think it would be pretty bad for an organized political action committee to call a woman, I'm saying that they basically called her a prostitute is what they were hinting at, or an escort, demeaning her in that way, and then talking about an abortion you can't prove she had. The only proof that they have is they still say, hey, we have 3 anonymous Jane Does that say she had an abortion, even though we know the date that they released was wrong. The establishment of a White House task force to address online harassment and abuse is unconstitutional. It's a violation of the First Amendment. It's down the same rabbit hole. It's almost like Kathy Hochul knew when she said it's almost like she knew when Kathy Hochul basically said, no, you don't have free speech. So with that, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden included, because she reports to Joe Biden, if we lived in a serious world, a reasonable world, then Democrats would impeach both of them just for creating this group. But we are governed by people who no longer deserve to be public servants. They're corrupt, aspirational sleazebags in Washington, D.C. So here we are. So I say impeachment isn't the way because it's so partisan, you're not going to accomplish anything. Impeachment isn't accountability. But if we lived in a serious world, impeachment and removal from office would have been wrapped up, sealed, signed, delivered already on this group. And since it's not, I want to know what will fall under this purview. Or is it going to be like, I'm not black because I don't bend the knee to the corporate narrative, or I actually ask questions about it? Is it that Lauren Boebert really isn't a woman? Maybe that's why they want to conflate the truth with defining what a woman is. Let me know what you think. Take care.